Horror movies are made to be terrifying and scary, but the things which happened to the cast and crew of these movies while they were in the making could be even scarier than the fictional movie they eventually produce. Here are some of the most horrifying events that took place on horror movie sets. Number 1, The Possession 2012. This 2012 movie had a plot that revolved around Judaism, rabbis, and a cursed book box that attached itself to a little girl. One of the movie stars, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is a man known for playing roles in multiple paranormal movies and television series, including a role in the television series Supernatural. But even a man like Mr. Morgan, who is no stranger to paranormal activities, was left feeling uneasy by the events that happened on the set of this particular movie. Some of the paranormal activities that happened included lights exploding due to no apparent cause, and a chilly breeze blowing through the closed set for no apparent reason. The scariest incident, which scared the crew and cast of the set, occurred when the storage facility, which held all the props to be used for the movie, caught fire out of the blue and burnt to the ground. An investigation was held to determine the cause of the fire, but it was confirmed that the fire was not caused by arson or an electrical fault. Hence, the cause of the fire was ruled as undetermined by the investigators. The book box that was to be used in the movie was destroyed in the fire. The movie's producer opted to get a new box to replace the one that was destroyed, but the cast and crew wouldn't allow it for fear that book boxes were cursed. Number 2, The Conjuring 2013. The Conjuring is an adaptive movie based on the Perron family who experienced weird and chilling ghost activities around the 1970s in their home in Rhode Island. While the movie was being filmed, several members of the family paid visits to the movie set, but Carolyn Perron, the mother of the family, would not be convinced by anything to even go near the movie set, and for good reason, given the number of unexplained events which happened during the filming of the movie. Once when the Perron family paid a visit to the movie set, a strong wind that seemed to swirl around them came up. Some members of the crew who were standing nearby noticed that the trees just opposite them were not affected by the strong wind in any way. Some days after this incident, an even more unexplainable event took place. The hotel that the cast and crew of the movie lodged in caught fire, and the hotel had to be evacuated. The director of the movie, James Wan, also recalled working late one evening in his office when his dog suddenly started growling at something. Wan got up to investigate but couldn't find anything that should cause his dog to growl as it did. The dog, however, kept growling at an unseen entity across the room. Vera Farmiga, who played the role of a paranormal investigator in the movie, refused to take the script home with her. She claimed it made her uneasy, and she also couldn't read it at night because she usually became numb with fear whenever she did. She also recounted a time when she opened her laptop and saw 3 slashes occur at the screen, as though a clawed creature had dragged its paw across it. Number 3, The Exorcist. The Exorcist is arguably one of the most popular horror movies of all time, and a go-to film in the 1970s. This movie is generally known to have a curse associated with it, given the creepy thing that took place while the film was being made. Jack McGrown, who was an Irish character actor that played along Burke Dennings in the movie, unexpectedly died just a few days after wrapping up his part in the movie. A security guard and a special effects worker also died while the movie was still in production. There was another incident where the entire set burned to the ground due to no apparent cause, and it had to be rebuilt afresh. William Friedkin, the director of the movie, eventually had to invite a priest over to the set to perform a real-life exorcism, but this action seemed to have little to no effect on the curse hanging over the movie production, which seemed to affect people who watched the finished movie when it released, with several audience members experiencing heart attacks when they went to see the film in movie theaters. Number 4, The Passion of Christ 2004. This movie was about the death of Christ, but the set was plagued by mysterious accidents while filming was going on. Though hard to believe, individuals who were working on the set were struck by lightning no more than 3 times altogether. There was a guy who was unlucky enough to be struck by lightning on 2 different occasions. The lead actor, Jim Caviezel, was also struck by lightning while on set for the movie. He eventually suffered from several medical conditions, including hypothermia, a lung infection, pneumonia, terrible headaches, and a dislocated shoulder, and that's not all. During a whipping scene in the movie, part of his flesh was accidentally ripped out by the whiplash. Number 5, The Exorcism of Emily Rose 2005. This is a film about demonic possession that's so scary it's sure to keep you up at night, and the event which occurred during the filming doesn't make it any less scary. At first, the lead actress, Jennifer Carpenter, experienced her radio alarm clock repeatedly turning itself on during the production of this movie. And the scary thing is, it always played one song, Alive by Pearl Jam. Soon other cast members also started experiencing the same thing, and they reported that their alarm radio also played the same song each time. They eventually got so scared that they all agreed to remove the radios permanently from their rooms, and the creepy occurrence stopped. There was never an explanation for why the radio alarm clock kept turning on by themselves and kept playing just that one song. Number 6, Twilight Zone the movie, 1983. The story behind the occurrences that took place during the filming of this movie is rather sad. One of the lead actors, Vic Morrow, was killed shortly after production started. What is so creepy is the fact that Morrow seemed to have predicted his demise just a year earlier. Before agreeing to star in the movie, he took $5 million out of his life insurance. The only thing he told his family and friends was that he was sure something bad was going to happen to him, as he had seen it happen in a dream. He also told them that this bad thing was going to occur during one of his movies, and sure enough, when filming started for this movie, the helicopter Morrow was on crashed and he was decapitated. Later, it was discovered that the concept artist had drawn an almost identical scene of the accident. Number 7, The Omen, 1976. The Omen is a horror movie that turned out to be one of the most popular and influential films made in the 1970s. The story was about a young boy, Damien, who was prophesied to become the Antichrist. Many things rock the set of this movie, similar to the occurrences that also took place in the movie. The son of the lead actor Gregory Peck committed suicide when filming the movie just began. A crew member was seriously injured in a car accident while driving down to the set. The plane that the scriptwriter for the movie boarded to get to the film's location was struck by lightning en route. The plane that Peck and the executive producer of the movie took while traveling was also struck by lightning in a separate incident. But the biggest tragedy to affect the set of this movie was yet to come. The crew decided to take a private airplane to move to a different film location. But a few minutes after the plane took off with some crew members on board, something went wrong with the plane and it crashed into a road, hitting a car. The sheer force of the impact caused the car to crash into another vehicle. Everyone who was involved in this accident, numbering 11 in total, was killed. These bizarre stories from different sets involved in making different movies may not convince you of demonic possession or the presence of spirits, but it gives you an insight into the situations cast and crew have to go through to put horror movies together and successfully produce them. It goes to show people who make these movies are very courageous and resilient, and you should definitely appreciate the work they put in, and maybe keep a bottle of holy water close by at all times.